RWBY talk.
RWBY.
Oh my god. David, this is
Like,
every once in a while you get an episode that's like, oh, this is going to be one of the important ones, one that's remembered forever.
Yeah.
You want to kick this one off?
So, that moon, though.
Yeah, so fine. I've been waiting for the moon. Okay, so when Crow first told the whole, like, light god, dark god thing, I kind of figured that it was, like, I had an idea, like, because if I remember correctly, what he said all the way back in Volume 4, I believe it was like, there's light god, there's dark god. One did creations, one wanted to destroy, and they argued. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. One created the moon, and the other one was like, nah, fuck that shit. You know, but it was a little bit different. It was them. It's kind of the signification of them leaving, and I assume it's going to be like a metaphorical, deep thing where it's like they left and shattered the moon, and whenever they come back, maybe it'll reform the moon.
Right.
Like the moon being broken signifies the brokenness of the world as of now. I assume.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the irony in this is this really fits into the real world too. Here,
oh yeah.
Like, I'm looking at this like, and rumor has it that this was planned for a long time. So
I can believe it. I mean, like, I believe that a lot of their stuff is planned because it makes sense. And what I will say is, a lot of times when they get into realms of, like, you know, ooh, the two fighting gods and magic, a lot of times I don't like that stuff. But, like, as I was sitting here watching it, it was well done. It was well executed.
Yeah.
It was believable. It felt real. And I think that it managed to differentiate itself from a lot of other things that do that same stuff. So I really, I loved... Here's the scene I want to jump to immediately. The scene where the dark god and the light god are kind of like arguing about it. Like where she goes to the dark god after going to the light god and being rejected by him. Dark god doesn't know this, so at first she's like, fuck yeah, you're loyal to the darkness, alright, take your dude back. And he's like, well, little did you know, she came to me first. And he's like, oh, I apologize, you're right, let me just Thanos him away real quick.
Yeah, literally to dust.
Yeah, so and what was great about that was like... the amount of times it was like, he's alive now, he's dead now. Like, how traumatic. Like, I feel like they fucked her mind up a lot there because it's like, I'm alive. Oh, wait, kill him. I'm alive. Kill him.
So, a scene I really want to touch on before this thought escapes my mind is after the reincarnation, like, Ozma, I should say, is now back alive and inside this other dude, and they're doing the whole fucking, you know, we are the new gods, worship us kind of shit.
Right, which is probably where the whole, like, levitating down, people bowing down came from in the trailer.
Right. Right during that, I was, like, watching his descent into, like, will he become corrupt here?
Mm-hmm.
And then his willpower to, you know, say, you know what, fuck it. Red, can you get that one picture I sent you ready while I talk about this?
Where is this? Discord?
I sent it to you in the Brozone on Discord.
Alright, I'll get it. Go ahead.
He's leading his family away as his second reincarnation. And I happened to stumble upon a meme that is so perfect. It's talking early RWBY to now.
Oh, okay, I see it. Alright, let me save it real quick.
And this meme is so fucking perfect.
Alright. Opening original. Well, while I'm getting that, why don't you talk a bit about just a little bit more of your thoughts while I'm getting it here.
So, as he's leading the family away here, and like the little duel we have here.
Oh, fuck yeah. Marital strife.
Wait. Not.
Why are mommy and daddy fighting with huge fuck-off Kamehameha lasers?
That battle seemed like it went on exactly as long
as the Cinder Osmond battle.
Yeah, I'm like, it's done, and he's crawling away as he's bleeding out. So I want to know what happened to Salem's children. Salem and Ozma's children.
I had a theory that since they were able to do magic, are they what became of the maidens? Like, did the maiden blood start from that?
That's what I'm thinking here. Like, and call it fanfic if you will, but that would be fucking hilarious. Not only is Ozpin kind of fucking guilty of creating this monster.
All right.
But he's also kind of guilty of creating the fucking
More
cycle of bullshit
monsters
we're
in the
in.
form of children. All right, the meme is on screen, David. Go.
So, I made more mistakes than any man, woman, or child on this planet. Like, what? I was thinking, like, putting my dick in that, for starters. Somebody memed, don't stick your dick in crazy for fucking Osmond.
Right. This is just going to be on screen for the rest of the fucking review.
Credit to the actual page I found this on is on this fucking image. Yep. So go like that page.
Hell yeah. All right.
Thank you, Yang Puns, for this meme.
So, but no, so let's talk, I want to talk about the dynamic between the Dark God and the Light God here, because I like that, and Salem kind of picks up on this, they're fallible. They can be tricked.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that as an idea is really fascinating, and the fact that like she picked up on that, like, wait a minute, hold on, I was able to trick one of them. Who says I can't fucking turn all of humanity against them and fuck them over? And like Salem was one of those people that like I think she was just so broken from her experience that she was like, I'm going to do. I don't get like. It's one of those things where the gods were like, oh, surely if we put her in this fucked up situation, she'll learn from her errors. But she's one of those people that are just so stubborn that no matter what, it was like, no, she just has one of those, like, because I think we all know someone like this where no matter what you do, what you say, they will not learn. It's never their fault. It's always someone else's fault. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of things here for that. But a god itself being that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, because it's fascinating to me that I always pictured, especially what we saw earlier, like with the God of Light and the God of Dark talking, I got major All Might One for All vibes with their talk.
Exactly.
And so I was under the impression that they could like never get along, period. But like I like that they both actually agreed that Salem was too fucking far gone.
Exactly.
So I think that adds so much humanity to these gods. Like that makes them such more interesting characters to me, because they weren't just like, you know, we're just going to disagree because we're opposites. Because a lot of times they play up this whole, these two gods, they were opposites, they disagree on everything. But no, I like that they were able to both be like, we're going to work together to punish Salem because she is being a bitch right now.
So here's what I love about this. And not just the fact that they are able to come to an agreement like this bitch is crazy, but the fact that we now know that both of these characters are technically immortal.
Ozpin and Salem, yeah. And it's interesting because it's in different ways. Salem in the more direct, like, and that scene where we see the shadow of her literally trying to stab herself and RWBY react. I mean, RWBY saw that shit, which I love.
Yeah, that's like...
Hashtag de-innocent RWBY.
but like,
hold on.
her trying to...
I like that they're immortal in different ways. Like, she's immortal in the sense that you could literally, like, Deadpool her and she'll be alive, presumably.
Exactly.
And then you have Ozpin, who is immortal in a more indirect way, where he kind of transfers soul and body, and he had to kind of learn to live with those bodies. And, like, he had to learn to not push them out and, you know, get rid of their presence completely, but let them have a say in the body as well. And I like that.
Exactly. But what I love about this is, like, we know now that he's given not all of himself control. Like, he has to allow the body to have that say. But what interests me is now we see that struggle that we saw between fucking Oscar and Ozpin a little bit more, and why that struggle exists.
Yes. And I agree with you. I think I know where you're going with this. It's kind of like, it's always good to have a second opinion, right? So I think that because what the gods said to Ozpin was, you're going to be reborn in such a way that makes it so you're never alone, or you always have a second voice. I don't remember how he worded it, but it was something like that, right? And I think that the reason he did that is because I think in any form of decision making, it's very important to have a second opinion. Because let's look at Salem right now. Why is she the way she is? Because she's full of herself. She thinks she's right no matter what. It's always her. It's always someone else. It's never her. Blah blah blah. Right. So I think that they gave Ozpin that second voice so he wouldn't succumb. Because look, you see him at first kind of succumbing to what Salem wants to do. And then it's that second voice that says, what the fuck are we doing, Ozpin? What's going on here? And that snapped him out of it. And you can see that happening now. Like, that's happening now with Oscar. Oscar was the one here that was like, don't listen to him, you get the information. So I think that it almost reminds me of like Hawkeye and or like Riza Hawkeye and fucking the fire alchemist from Fullmetal Alchemist that I'm forgetting the name of right now. Colonel, no, is it? I don't remember his fucking name. Either way, you remember with that one, like he was like, hey, I know that I am a human and I'm fallible to be corrupt, so I'm going to count on you to fucking slap me if I ever am being corrupt and I need to stop. You know, that's kind of, you know, even Ozpin, as good of a person as he is, he'll forget. And you can see where we're at now in the timeline. He is, once again, it's been so long, he's starting to forget that original don't be corrupt message. You know, he's hiding things from people. He is so desperate enough to the point where he potentially is going to tackle RWBY here. So...
Or kill RWBY.
Yeah, potentially. So Oscar is, again, once again, because humans make mistakes, where we live in a cycle and we never fucking learn. So Oscar is doing what that main guy in that flashback did that very first time by reminding him, what the fuck are you doing? And at this point, just assuming direct control and being like, don't listen to him, he's fucking you over. And I love that.
Right. I love the descent we saw, though, from...
Oh, yeah.
From Ozma, the first incarnation, to the second one, to hopeless alcoholic fucking Ozma. And many of them tried to forget.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like,
I imagine he has understands what Crow goes through. You know, he's some similarity with Crow there. And
that's the bond. They're both alcoholics, confirmed.
Well, looks like Ozpin's kicked that as of now, but...
but like, goddamn, we see that, we see him become, you know, what we know now, watching him tinker and build the cane, watching all of that, and going back, fighting Grimm, and then seemingly all of this being through muscle.
Mm-hmm.
Ozpin probably is seeking the fucking relics just so he can fucking die at this point.
Well, yeah, so that's something, let's talk about that now. Because again, what I love about this, so much information in this episode. So...
Well, who wants to bet this will last longer than the Promised Neverland discussion?
Exactly. So what I love about this is we find out in this episode that once all of the relics are brought together, it's essentially going to be like the rapture from the Bible, where they come back and judge humanity. And so I like the idea that it makes so much sense why Salem's trying to get it, because Salem at this point just wants to die. You know what I mean?
Right.
So Salem wants to gather them all so that she can just finally put an end to all of humanity, because fuck it at this point, right? Whereas I believe Ozpin wants to gather them and probably keep them separated from each other, but hide them so that we can, you know, continue to try to make life good on this planet, and then, you know, and put them together when we have a good chance.
And then the generals, you know, bring them together once peace is achieved.
Yes.
And
then we got to hide them from Salem, essentially, yeah.
That's essentially what he did, although one relic's already been taken, the one from Beacon, and then obviously this one from Haven is strapped to RWBY.
Mm-hmm. Strapped to fucking RWBY. Get that shit off of RWBY. It's too much responsibility for her.
I want a kitty.
Yeah. It's no biggie, guys. I'm just holding one of the 4 things that can bring about apocalypse.
You know. I'm just picturing Lindsay in character here. It's like, I want a kitty.
Yes. So other things. Wow. Okay. So other things we find out. So I just blanked it when I was saying you go, and then I'll remember what I said.
What I also fucking love here is the fact that dragons confirmed. Like, as we had the dragon in Volume 3, the Dragon Grimm, but now the gods essentially turn into dragons.
Yeah, one of them was a Chinese dragon. It was like a Chinese dragon versus a Western dragon, almost.
Exactly. That there was just like... for me.
Dragon hype. Dragons in a lot of fandom lately. One Piece has got dragons. RWBY's got dragons.
Fucking Kaido's a dragon.
Kaido's a dragon. But yeah.
But, like, that there, and then we now know the Grimm pool that we see in Volume 4, I believe it was.
Well, we
was the realm of darkness.
Volume 3.
That was the realm of fucking darkness.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah, so that was the original, like, realm of the dark god, and when, as an immortal being, she's like, surely this will kill me, and then she just becomes something kind of half and half. Between death and life and all that shit.
I loved your train of thought there, though. I went into the God of Light's fucking pool. I became immortal. I go to the God of Death. Let's go fuck Death's pool. And fucking, nope, I'm a Grim now. I'm essentially a fucking Grim human.
Yeah, so I have a question. There was one thing that I didn't get, and I'm hoping that you caught what happened here, because I completely went over my head. Well, actually, I'll get to the potential plot hole after I first gush about the scene. So first, I want to gush about the scene where he nukes humanity. Bro, see, like the God of Darkness, he looked at Thanos and he was like, all right, Thanos, I see what you did. I am a fan, but you did a half a job, okay? You got to do the full job.
Right? Like...
That was fucking sick. Where she's like, so what? You killed my army. I'll go get more. And he's like, no, you misunderstand. Everyone's dead.
Everyone. Your
I was
mom,
like, wow, he
your
nuked
dad,
it.
Your fucking lover boy, your side bitch. Everybody's dead.
Everybody on the planet. And that reminds me, remember, how you tried to show me like Adventures of God in the past, and they always make jokes about just like nuking it and restarting, reset and restart. He literally did that.
He literally was like, you know what, fuck it.
I gotta say, I love the Dark God style, because he's just like, because he was pissed. He was like, bitch, because the Dark God gave them dust. It was like, oh, okay. The gift I gave you, really? You're gonna try? Okay, I see how it is. You're all dead. Like, that's insanity. Now, but here's where I'm gonna get. As much as I love that scene, and I love what follows that scene, where they leave through the moon, the comets are falling, crashing around her, and she's screaming. That was a sick ass scene.
Oh yeah, it was.
Now, but I have a major question. I'm hoping I just missed something. How did humanity come back? I thought she was the last one there.
So the God of Light did say, essentially, humanity will return in due time, but blah blah blah.
How?
I'm like, how did he just let evolution take place? That explains the faunus,
bro. If she's been there that long, Salem started fucking some animals and made the first faunus. Oh my god!
But like.
Yeah, so that's, and I'm gonna guess that, because that everything else was so brilliantly crafted. I gotta just assume that I'm missing something, or it'll come up later. But that was like something where when I was watching it, it was like, oh, all of humanity's gone. I was like, how the fuck is there gonna be more humanity? How do we get to where we are now? And I thought maybe he was gonna, when he revived. It's so simple. You could have just had Ozpin get revived, him and Salem do the nasty, and they become the Adam and Eve of the new world. But instead,
they kind of did the nasty.
They did, but here's the problem. Instead, we see him get revived, but he's revived among civilization. It already exists. Yeah. So I just don't get that. That's the one thing I don't get.
I don't get that. I don't get where the kids come into play here. Like, are they the original Maidens?
They were the beginnings of the Maidens, personally.
Which makes that even a darker fucking plot.
Uh-huh.
But here's the biggest question. Who created the faunus?
It's interesting, because apparently he came back and boom, the faunus were just there.
Exactly.
I wonder if it's a mutation. I wonder, because like, if we're gonna go by like biblical type stuff, right? So like in the Bible, there are things that are like that are shitty, right? Like God got pissed, so like, oh, here's some shitty stuff. So like thorns on plants, for example. That's like like a fuck you get thorns on plants because you suck. You know what I mean? Like these little things here and there. So I wonder if the faunus were like, you know what? You guys can't get along, so here's a test. I'm gonna create a completely different race, and I know how you humans like to be racist. So because that's what I like about. And this, I want to praise the writing here, because this is good writing. This is prime plot writing 101. You have tied in Blake's goal and the main goal of the show into one.
Right.
The White Fang's goal and the main goal into one. So what used to be just like a side mission, like, oh, the White Fang, faunus, we want to be treated equally, is now integral for the show to end. That is so like that needs to happen before they gather the relics. So they literally need to solve racism.
Good luck.
Yeah. So that's fascinating, and I'm curious to see how they do that. Now, another thing we got to bring up. And this shit, because it's very, and I hope it's all going to come down to how they do this, because I've seen plenty of series do the whole, like, they're unbeatable, they're immortal, and then fuck it up.
Oh, yeah.
Think Bleach, Yuha Bach style. But on the other hand, if there are clever enough writers, they can make it make sense. So I'm gonna, because of how good this is, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and say that I absolutely loved the scene where he's asking an all-knowing god of knowledge, how do you beat Salem? And she's like, you can't. I'm like, what?
You can't. Fade to white. And that's how RWBY ends.
You can't.
They all just commit seppuku. But here's tying in our little con adventure. Remember, I don't know if you were there when I talked to Kara, Weiss's voice actress.
I wasn't.
She's
there.
like, I don't know if you overheard it or you were by the booth while I was there, but she said, be sure to watch this week's episode because it will blow your fucking mind.
This one?
Yes.
Yeah, so she said a similar thing to me. I was talking about, I told her how much I loved Volume, because I talked to her on Friday before this episode came out. And
right.
And I was telling her how much I was loving Volume 6 so far. Because I said to her face, I was like, listen, I wasn't a huge fan of Volume 5.
I did too. I brought up the fact that she's like, yeah, I hear that a lot.
Yeah, so
I brought up the fact that Miles blocked me on Twitter too.
But yeah, no. So I said that right to her, but I was only because I was following it up with, but Volume 6 has blown it out of the park so far. And when I said that, she was, she did the classic of, oh, thank you, but she also did the watch the whole season. It's going to impress you. It's gonna be good. It's one of our best. So yeah. Wow. And finally we're getting Salem. Like this makes Salem and Ozpin's character so good. Ozpin especially. I've always liked Ozpin.
Remember last fucking discussion we did? I said I'd love to see them both fucking explored in this, not just Ozpin. Well, we fucking got it.
Yo, yeah, this is a perfect example of how we did it. This is a perfect example of how you can actually like do good writing. So like you can, if you're a good enough writer, you can fit enough shit into one episode without it feeling packed. So like I've seen lesser writers have an episode this long, but like nothing happens. You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
Yeah, so like this is great, and we got so much. It didn't feel like underwhelming, or I thought it was phenomenal. Now, I guess what it comes down to now is, well, first of all, any final thoughts on any of the things we learned during the flashback?
What I want to know is where are we going to go next here? Because are we going to get more info on how the reincarnation works and all these other incarnations here? Has he utilized any of the other relics? Has he because we learned, destruction and fucking creation and all that shit.
There's destruction, creation, choice, and knowledge.
Right. Like, we have all of those here. Has he utilized any of them besides this one, the one of knowledge? Has he...
Well, he's had his whole life, and we did see that he asked in one of his previous incarnations where they all were.
Right. And we don't really know how long ago that was, either.
Well, you know what? No, he's definitely been in contact with all of them because he knows where they all are. I assume he got them originally, and then I'm assuming he's the one that moved them. No, yeah, for sure. He moved them below all the
But has he used any of them besides the knowledge?
Because remember, the entire point of creating all of these schools was actually to... Like, he was like, what better way to protect these than to create a school of a bunch of huntresses and hunters?
Right.
Yeah, so he moved there. He's definitely had contact with them, so I would be surprised if he hadn't used them.
Right, so where was that in the flashback? Is there more to this, or are we going to...
you always got to leave yourself a little wiggle room if you ever want to be like, oh, this happened,
Right, so... The question is, are we going to learn more about each relic as we rescue them or collect them? Or are we going to go down the entire plot dump in the next episode? Like, oh, by the way, he also used this one, and this one, and did this, and this.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, we might have a little bit more. Sometimes, like Din, it's Jin, right? Jin might have a bit more to say, like the first minute or two of the episode, just to wrap it up. But I guess what I'll say here is... I'm very excited. Well, first of all, I want to say that this flashback made Ozpin's character so much better. Like, it's amazing what just knowing about a character and knowing what drives them can do for a character. There was a point where I wanted to cosplay Ozpin back in the day. I didn't end up doing it, but now I want to do it even more because he means more now. Like I love like his character, watching him walk through those struggles and walk through those lifetimes that got me, man. And what a great character. But yeah, what I'm looking forward to seeing in next episode is now that the secret's spilled to everybody and random fucking Goggle Granny, which by the way, she knows that now. Just keep that in mind.
Oh yeah. Well, does she? Because we didn't see her in any of the flashes. So maybe
I think that's gonna be a reveal, like a comedic reveal. Like they're all like
true,
Goggle Granny's gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
Right? Okay, I just saw all that. I understand none of it. I need a drink. Crow, give me your flask.
Or it's going to be like, Goggle Granny, did you see that? And it's like, well, my eyes aren't working very well. It's like, oh, thank God. I did hear it, though.
Shit!
But, yeah. So, but my biggest thing is I want to see how Ozpin reacts to the fact that everyone knows that. Is he going to react with rage, or is he going to be, like, broken about it?
I honestly want to see broken rage. Because he's already lashed out in rage, essentially, when he tried to tackle or kill
I want to see that continued. I want to see what was he going to do to RWBY?
You ruined everything! Now everybody knows my secret!
Bruh. Yeah, oh my God. Yeah, I agree. I want to see broken rage. That'd be great. Whew. Final thoughts, David.
So, here's what I want. I want to see the broken rage, but I also want to see Crow's reaction.
Yeah, how much of this did he know already, and how much was new information to him?
Exactly, because we know that Crow seemed to think he knew a lot.
Crow probably got the TLDR version of this from Ozpin,
right?
Know? Like, all right, Crow, fine. Like him and Crow were drunk one night, and he's like, all right, Crow, listen.
I stuck my dick in crate.
You know how it goes.
I had 4 kids.
I fucked her, yeah. And something with the god of light and death, that also happened. And the entire humanity was nuked out of existence. And,
Your drunk is very bad, Red. Let me.
Okay, do it, David.
Okay, so I stuck my dick in crazy. I have 4 kids. They're not maidens. Don't question it. And over there, that fucking Shinron-looking motherfucker and his bastard brother nuked humanity because my fucking crazy bitch tried to bring me back from the dead. I know I love her still, but goddamn,
bruh, that's like one of those Now I need to see a meme where it's like someone's complaining about their like oh, my ex-girlfriend's so crazy, she tried to stab me or something. It's like, bitch, like Ozpin's like, that you don't know crazy. My ex-girlfriend's so crazy, she ended
humanity.
She was so thirsty for that Ozpin dick, she tried to raise him from the dead. And she broke the natural
necromancy, not even once.
She waged war against gods for that thirst.
But there's also these 4...
This actually goes beyond Obito. Like, we thought Obito was bad. Like, she's like female Obito right now.
She's female yandere Obito.
Although Obito was like kind of bad, like his motivations were bad. I kind of like Salem. I gotta be honest. This is good. This makes me like Salem. This is what we need. Am I wrong? Like we were talking.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong, dude.
Bro.
But there's also these 4 relics that I need to build schools to protect them. Don't question it. One looks like a fucking sword. The other one's a fucking urn that you can put Pura's... wait, Pura doesn't exist yet. That's coming in a fucking future.
I see in the multiverse. I know all that is and all that will ever be.
There's going to be this girl. She's going to be insanely beautiful and insanely talented as a warrior. She's going to die protecting me.
She won't even be legal before she dies. Was she? I don't even know.
I don't fucking know. But you see, I do the drunk better.
I heard you say beautiful. It's like, no, you're not allowed. You can't say that. Shad base is coming.
Papa Shad, no!
Bruh. All right.
But yeah,
So final thoughts
honestly, this has got to be one of my favorite episodes so far, and that's out of all 6 volumes because we got the plot dump that this series so desperately fucking needed.
Agreed. Yeah,
and
good.
Once this happened, I'm like, a lot of the series is finally starting to piece together. But what I also overheard while I was at the panel is it's like this has been planned since Monty was alive.
I can imagine. I mean, it seems like the moon being broken, I assume, was another one of those big, you know how the Pyrrha dying by getting hit in the ankle, that was something that was painted ever since volume 1 and shit. They were not painted, they did a cosplay shoot of it or something.
Exactly.
I assume that this is one of those moments where the moon being crashed. You gotta assume that you're designing the world. The moon's cracked in half. They're like, all right, what caused that? Some fucking gods were pissed. All right, cool.
But that's what's so interesting about and this makes a lot of sense now because you see these gems of episodes as we go along.
Mm-hmm.
And as you follow the panels and the fucking conventions, oh yeah, that was a Monty plan. That was a Monty plan. His genius still exists to this day in the series.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I fucking respect the hell out of Miles and Carrie here. As much as I have a distaste for Miles personally because of how he handles criticism and how he handles a lot of things in his life, I respect that he's still following that storyboard that's been planned out since the beginning. I respect the fact that Carrie's going on and continuing this.
At least to an extent. We, obviously, if you want to go into the Shane Newell letter, they maybe have changed a couple things, but yeah, to an extent, yeah.
Yeah. So that there is what I respect here. What I also respect is knowing the fact that this has been planned since the very fucking beginning, essentially. That's the glory of great storytelling, is you plot everything out almost to an
say again, you cut out. Almost to a what?
Almost to an Oda level here.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's like I think they have a lot of this planned out, but sometimes they don't know how to execute it. So because volume 5, they admitted that their pacing was off. And I think that they have all these things planned, but maybe one of the things that they hadn't had mastered yet was how quickly or slowly do we do them.
Exactly.
And clearly they've learned. They've done good so far this volume.
They're doing goo. But what I want to see now is, where do we go from here? Where's the next piece of Monty's genius, essentially?
Oh.
That's what I'm curious. How much further in advance was this planned, and where does that genius sadly end?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think that once they're out of Monty's idea realm, it's not like they're just going to be useless. I really don't.
I know they're not going to be useless because now they've built the world. They've got everything open to them now at this point. Yeah. Now it's how do we execute everything, and that's the scary realm we're in now. Is now we have 2 literal immortal beings fighting to either end or save creation, the universe, the fucking existence of a fucking entire race. Well, multiple races when you think about it, possibly, because the Faunus are part of humanity's sort of, kind of, which is a tried and true trope,
Yeah, no, I agree with that. What I noticed about this episode as I was watching it was yes, this if you break this down to its basic level, it's tropey, but it was done in such a different enough way that I liked it.
Exactly. So that's
the little things the gods actually getting along and being you know what, actually they hate each other, but they were able to come to a conclusion. I love that shit like that.
Exactly. So that's the fucking genius part of this. Now, where does this go from here, and how do they execute it? So say volume 9, we're at the end of the rope, right? Because it seems like they do these in 3 volume arcs.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say at the end of volume 9, we're here, we have all 4 relics. The gods descend from the heavens. How do we execute that moment?
I honestly think that the gods aren't descending until they fix racism. They might have moments where it's like, oh, they're almost going to, like Salem's about to get him, like kind of like Frieza activating the Dragon Balls, But like I think that the real moment where that'll be like the finale of the show. Now, like that seems to me like this setup is almost like the One Piece, like finding the One Piece in One Piece. Like I think it's gonna be like, all right, we've ended racism everywhere. Oh, there's peace, and I think we'll impress the gods now, and then they'll come back.
Yeah,
that's where I see it happening.
That could be one way of handling it. That would be beautiful. Another way they could handle is like assemble the 4 relics and have them come down and be like, well, what about that fuckboy over there? They point to fucking at him.
That one guy.
What about that one guy with enough rage to put fucking Sasuke to shame?
There's that. They're like looking around the world, and it's like, there is a guy cheating on his wife over there. Oh, God damn it, Bill! What did we say? Just for the one day that the gods are here, behave.
The one day.
He's like
you
fucking slamming this chick behind a tree, and it's like, fuck!
Fuck, I doomed humanity.
Yo, what a reason to doom humanity. I had to nut, so I doomed humanity.
I had to bust. You couldn't rub it out behind that tree, you fucking heathen.
Bruh.
Yeah,
RWBY abridged coming soon.
Aren't there like 5 already?
They're probably horrible. Not to say ours would be good.
But yeah, there's definitely a lot of fucking room for this to go either north or south, essentially. So I want to see when this ends how they handle that moment. That will be the make or break of the series. Just handling of the fucking of fucking Bleach. Shit, this fucking series down.
Yeah.
The fucking final.
To me, there's a couple make or break moments. Make or break moments are like, for me, are like, how are they going to handle the whole ending racism thing? Because really, if you think about it, that's one of those things that'll probably never end. Because humans, by nature, will find a way to hate each other. Even if we all look the same and be like, well, that fucker breathes differently. Mouth breathers versus nose breathers. Oh, well, that fucker's nipples are hairy and mine are smooth. Hairy nipples versus normal nipples. We'd find a reason to hate each other because it's what we do by nature.
Really? You went there?
Yeah, dude. I mean, it was kind of a cone nipple versus ring nipple Rick and Morty reference, if you think about it.
Oh, my God.
But
find the nearest knife and end yourself.
We'll see. It's funny. I instinctively looked for your fucking... I'm sitting at the table. I looked for your skull that used to have the knife.
Oh, my God.
So... Honestly,
my presence is still in that fucking apartment, even after I've been gone for a month.
It'll never be. Your presence will always be here.
Trust me. It will always be there.
Oh God! How much semen's in the carpets? Oof. Anyway, no matter how much deep cleaning I do, it'll always be here.
I'll always be there, Red.
Bruh. Okay, yeah. No, but fucking, I lost what I was saying. Oh no, yeah. So since racism is like and hatred in general is like a natural human thing, I'm curious in what realistic way they're going to go about ending that to a point that would appease the gods.
This does not satisfy me, says light. Satisfies me, says darkness.
Well, I feel like Dark would be the one that would bring up, we made them like this, right? Like, it's kind of our fault.
Right. We made them hate each other,
Well, and then Light would be like, you made them hate each other. That was your gift. Hatred.
And your gift was what, fucker?
I gave them hatred and the ability to shoot fucking fire out of their hands to express that hatred.
What's more fucking hateful than fire? Oh, I don't know. God damn it, I'm not going to go there. Never mind.
Oh, I see. Was it dark? Either way, good shit. Final thoughts, predictions, David.
Final thoughts.
What was
that was clapping.
Oh, I thought you were like I don't know if that was like, I thought that was like jerking it for a sec.
No, I was clapping. I was not jerking it to this episode. I will probably jerk it to some Gen hentai after this though, because it already exists.
I'm not into blue women.
Racist.
Yeah, well, good thing blue women aren't real. Fuck you.
They might be real on Mars. You never know.
Lol. Yeah, in the future when we discover a race of blue women from like Neptune, and it'll be like, and then they'll pull this fucking clip up and be like racist. And it was uploaded in 2018. We found the aliens in 2045. Too bad. Racist. Retroactively racist. It worked for James Gunn. It works for him.
Fuck! Oof! God damn. But no, what I actually want to predict here, I want to predict the fucking showdown between, not so much a fight, because I don't think Crow is stupid or drunk enough at this point to actually try to kill a child, but because Ozpin probably lied to his fucking face, I want to see that.
Yeah, do you think how much do you think he lied to him about?
I'm going to say a good 75% he omitted from the story.
So, like, I'm trying to remember, did Crow look, like, shocked at any point when we were seeing his expressions?
I honestly wasn't paying attention to a lot of his reaction. I was more paying attention to the story here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess we'll have to see then. I like the idea of Crow being like, well, I didn't know about that part.
I thought we were tight. We were
So
drinking
tight.
buddies. And
what are they fucking like? What generation would say that? Like 90s, 80s?
90s.
Tight, bruh.
But, like, goddamn, dude. I want to see that.
Agreed.
I really want to see that. I want to see Ozpin fucking try to murder RWBY.
I would kind of love that. I want Ozpin to go like, cause they should not forget the fact that Ozpin charged at RWBY like that. They should be like, how are we supposed to trust you, dude? Like, you literally charged at me with murderous intent. Like, they should be keeping a close watch eye on him from here on out.
Right, exactly. So I want to see those reactions at this point. And I also want to see Yang's reaction to all of this. Because
Yeah,
I can picture some funny Barb moments here.
I don't know if it's gonna go for comedy. Honestly, we need to cool down. I think the best, because whenever
I think if anybody can laugh this off,
except for Goggle Granny, whenever you're gonna do a comedy moment, I think if anybody one big moment to kind of break the ice. That's gonna be the icebreaker. Mark my words. It's gonna be everyone's gonna be like shocked and like, what the fuck? And then Goggle Granny is gonna be like, what in the hell is that? Like, she's gonna turn into like a fucking Alabama.
Maybe.
Thurman, get over here. I need you to make a joke. All right, Thurman's plopping in to make the black joke that I can't make. Thurman, come here.
Oh my god! Are you bringing our black friend to make a black joke?
Because I asked for permission, Thurman. So I have permission to make a joke, and ask you to make a joke. Do you feel comfortable with this?
So Red has the permission to make a black joke because the black man says so.
All right, cool. So Thurman, while you're here, can you do like the best interpretation that you can of like a black grandma being like, "What in the hell was that?" Or so everyone's like looking at Ozpin, looking at Jin. Oh my god! And then you hear from, "What in the hell was that?" That's right.
Thank you, Thurman.
Thurman, this is best boy over here. Yeah, that's right. We hug him.
Guest starring
in the RWBY for the first time. Yes. So that's what Goggle Granny's gonna do.
Or we could have a fucking moment of being the dirtiest character in the show, Yang saying, "So, you shag Salem, huh?"
I really don't think they're gonna do that. I'm not sure how they would fucking play that. I almost think Nora could do something like that too. So you and Salem,
you and Salem were an item.
An item.
Ren, take notes.
Yeah, Ren, would you, if I died, would you rip apart the laws of the natural order and reality?
No.
No, I wouldn't. I'd just go to the beach. You never liked my health shakes, bitch.
But you did love my pancakes.
But you fucking love my pancakes, you dirty girl. Bro, that's the dirty talk, bro. He makes pancakes out of his semen.
The fuck?
You can't not laugh at that.
No, I was going to say
I'm gonna make you sound like syrup later.
That makes more sense. I don't want fried, griddled semen. Oh, we derailed. I'm sorry. If you made it this far, I'm sorry. And with that,
if you made it this far, type
no,
Queen of the Castle.
Stop it! And before, listen, David, you're paying for that shit. He gave away some free shit in that last video. You're paying for it.
I'm not doing a giveaway on this. My wallet is already hurting. It is fucking screaming. No, I cannot make that joke. David, shut the fuck up. But no, my wallet's already screaming after con. I literally cannot do another giveaway. But if you made it this far, type in the comments, I'm Queen of the Castle. So we know you made it all the way to the end of it.
If you want to, it's getting a little cringe now. Or you can just be a normal human and be like, hey, I enjoyed the video, and yes, I made it through the semen comment. Oh my god.
That too.
Well, anyway. Anything else?
Nope. I'm ending it before I say something really bad.
Let's stop